Hey guys, so today I'm going to do a get ready with me. I've had requests to bring some makeup tutorials, get ready with me's back to my channel, and I like to do stuff that you guys actually want to see. So it is 12/17 on Sunday. I'm at my grandparents' house. Maryland went absolutely crazy over the weekend and we had a ridiculous amount of wind. It was like 40-mile-per-hour winds for like 48 hours. So my apartment is perfectly fine, but I needed to come home anyways, and our house doesn't have any power. I think it's being turned back on today, but it was colder in the house than it actually was outside. So I came to my grandparents' house. I'm actually in my grandpa's room, slept in this bed for the first time ever. I've been alive for 21 years, and I came here almost every single week for like 17 years, and I never slept in this bed. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my foundation. If you guys can't hear in the background, I've got some good old chance plan. We're gonna try our best not to get copywritten, so I'm trying to keep it at a normal level. But foundation, I've been mixing these two. It is the CoverGirl Stay Fabulous in the color Tawny. This is way too dark for me. And then we have the Stay Luminous, also by CoverGirl, and this one is in the color Classic Tan. So I mix these, and I actually use this silicone kind of sponge applicator from e.l.f. So this was in one of the monthly boxes that I got because I'm like part of their beauty squad, and this is the best applicator I've ever used. I like this better than the Real Techniques blending sponge and the e.l.f. blending sponge, which is a complete dupe for the Real Techniques one if you've been looking for one. But I literally just do a dot of both shades, and then I'll go ahead in with the applicator. I don't even know what to call this. And you just apply it in circular motions, and then you just tap it into the skin. It's absolutely amazing. This is like the best form of applying foundation that I've ever used. And because this is still a bit darker than my skin tone, even though I have like blended it down my neck and everything, I always make sure that I use a concealer. So the concealer that I tend to go for is the e.l.f. Maximum Coverage one. Just looks like this. I have it in the color Almond, and I just put this underneath my eyes. I don't use a ton or anything, and then I'll take extra product and just kind of like highlight the center of my face because I always end up putting way too much underneath my eyes. I'm actually laughing because this looks so much worse on camera than it actually does in person. Like, this actually isn't that much darker than my skin, but for some reason I feel like it looks ridiculous. So I promise it's not that bad. Now I'm gonna do my eyebrows. So I use the e.l.f. Mad for Matte palette, and I've been using this shade forever. I just take this dark brown shade on this, I think this is a Bodyography eyebrow brush. I don't know. It has the spoolie and little angle brush. So what I'll usually do is I will brush my brows up. I really need to like tweeze them or something. This is getting a bit out of control at this point. And then I will outline the bottom first, and then I'll go in for the top. A lot of people ask about my brows, so this is what I'll do. I feel like whenever I have to do my eyebrows under pressure, they never come out as well as I want them to, but that's what they look like. Now I'm just going to set them using this clear brow gel from e.l.f. It's like a gel, and then it's also mascara. This is also the mascara I've been using right now. Honestly, one of the best of the best. The one that I had been using before was the Maybelline Last Sensational, which is one of the best mascaras I've ever found. But I really like this one, and it's also sweat resistant, aka it's waterproof. So I really like both of these, but this is just a clear brow gel. So if you were in my live stream a couple weeks ago, I talked about the fact that I was about to go on a Bumble date, and I wanted to give you guys a full story time of how this turned out because it was a train wreck. So I'm gonna tell you guys as I complete my makeup. So we're gonna use this L'Oreal True Match powder as my crease shade, transitional shade. I don't even remember what anything is called. This is kind of embarrassing. And it is in the color C8 Cocoa. So it's just a super dark but warm brown, as you can tell. I also use this as my bronzer because it's pretty dark. And I'm going to be using this Sonia Kashuk palette. If you guys have been here for a while, you probably remember me hauling this and getting this. This is in the textured cocoa quad, and the only thing that I really use in here is this glitter. So it's like a nice pressed gold glitter. So that's gonna be like the eye, the actual lid color that we're gonna use. And then I'm going to deepen up the outer corner with this black shade, most likely, just a little bit of that, and then a little bit of the dark brown, just to add a little bit of depth to the eyes. I think, I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind halfway through, but yeah, that's what we're gonna do right now. Basically, the story is like really not that crazy. It just like, things escalated so quickly, and I like enabled the whole thing, so I really shouldn't even be surprised. So basically, I got out of a relationship, and naturally I like hopped straight onto Tinder and Bumble with like no like goal in mind or anything. I was just kind of like, I don't know, I'm bored, I'm by myself, I want attention is basically what was happening. I don't have either of the apps anymore, but I went on like a bunch of Tinder and Bumble dates, and it was a lot of fun, you know. I got to meet people. It was a great time. After a while, you're like, okay, this is like a lot of work, and I don't really want a relationship right now, so it's almost like pointless for me, because that's kind of why I was using it. So we let that go. But I met this guy on Bumble, and he was really, really sweet right off the bat. And he was like complimenting me and stuff like that. So he got my Snapchat, and he would Snapchat me every now and then. I don't like Snapchat. Like, I don't like the whole like, let's have a conversation with pictures of ourselves. It just like doesn't work for me. I was like, hey, like, are you a texter? Because like, I don't really like using Snapchat that much. I only use it for my stories and like snapping my friend like something funny. So got his number. He's the worst texter I've ever met. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the dark brown now and just put that in the outer portion. But we talked through text a little bit. He said he wanted to take me on a date. I was like, yeah, I'm down. So fast forward to the date, which is when I was on the live before, because I was like super nervous because I'd never met him before, obviously. So he came to pick me up. Usually that's not what I'll do. I'll usually go and meet them there, because I'm like, I don't know if you're crazy. But he was coming to my apartment, so it's like, I get to decide. I can see you from the window, like I can run away if I need to. So he came and picked me up. We went to High Tops, which is in Towson, technically Timonium, I think. And that was a lot of fun. Got food, he paid. And then we went back to my apartment because we wanted to watch a movie, but I'd been to the movies twice because I went with my ex, and then a week later I went with someone else, and I was like, I can't go to the movies again. Like, I just don't want to. So we went back to my apartment, and we were watching, I think it was Split that we were watching. I don't remember, but we were watching some movie. And I don't know, he was just like super like pressuring me into doing stuff, and like I kissed him and it was fine, but it was also weird because it's like, it was still weird kissing other people because I wasn't like really ready, but I was like pretending like I was. So that was happening, and I was just kind of like, no, like not really feeling it. So nothing really happened. He was like, when can I see you again? I was like, I don't know, when do you want to see me? This is where stuff started getting weird, because then the communication like started falling apart, and I was like, oh, like maybe he didn't have a great time. Whatever, you know, like I only met this guy once, it's not that big of a deal. So I think I'll survive. I'm just gonna use my finger to put this on. So basically, I didn't talk to him the next day until like later in the day. He worked, so you know, that's normal. We weren't like a good morning text type of person. But the funniest thing is he texted like a middle schooler, like so many emojis, like so many like pet names. And for me, that's too much. I'm someone where I don't even like show affection that often. Like I'll do it through like intimacy or like doing things for you, but I'm not like complimenting you 24/7, stuff like that, because that's just not me. And I feel like it comes off as like a little phony when you haven't known the person for that long. So naturally I just don't start like that, and doesn't become a habit, so I just don't really do it in general. Then I was trying to make plans with him because I was like, maybe I should just make plans, because some guys are just, they're just not good at making plans, and that's perfectly fine. So I was like, I'll do it, because like I want to see you again. So made plans. We were supposed to see each other on Friday. I was in DC Thursday, so I came back Friday so that I could hang out with him. And I was like, okay, like let's hang out at blah 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 time. And at that exact time, like when the clock struck 5 o'clock, he was like, oh, like I actually can't hang out anymore because we like do something tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, like that's fine, like whatever, it's not that big of a deal. So then the next day comes around and he's like, what time should I come over? I was like, you can come over whenever. He was like, okay, how about 1? At exactly 1 o'clock, he texts me and he's like, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, why? Like, are you bailing on me? If so, let me know so I can like do something else with my time. Basically, I was actually doing something later that day. I'd cleared the day, but I needed to go back home that night. So I was like, sorry, I can't. Sorry. So we didn't talk for like 3 days, which was normal because he was just a bad texter. So I just didn't talk to him until we would hang out. We only hung out twice the entire time that I knew him. So comes around on Monday, he's like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, I have class from 2 to 3:15, but after that, like, I'm free. Hung out. He came over and we watched another movie, which was clearly a terrible idea because homie, it was just so weird the way that he went about things, because he would say like, oh, like I really like you, like all the very like fuckboy stuff, and I was like, okay, but then like the way that he would show things, it seems like he was only in it for sex, which is like, it's nothing. So I'm gonna use my powder and my little blush brush to apply some contour here. So he came over and we started watching a movie. After talking for a little bit, keep in mind that I don't really know this guy that much because we don't text, like we're not in contact unless I'm with him, and I'd only seen him one other time before, so there's not a lot of communication. Don't know much about him, and I need to know stuff about you for me to like want to do stuff with you, because that's just how I am. I can't just do stuff with random people. I could in the past, but I can't do it anymore. It's just not fun. So I like wasn't really about it, and like I told him no. I was like, I just don't want to. Like, I just don't want to have sex with you. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm apologizing, but like, I'm sorry. So he was like, I don't understand, like why I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, that doesn't matter. I just don't feel like it. So we still ended up doing some stuff, but we didn't have sex, obviously, because I have self-control. I like joked before we left and I was like, am I ever gonna see you again? Because clearly that's not something that really happens. I'm gonna take this orangey blush from the e.l.f. light palette, just apply a little bit on the cheeks there. That was a lot more than I wanted. And I'm gonna take my Real Techniques blending brush and just start blending stuff out. And he was like, yeah, like of course. So after that, I texted him like just like saying hi, like what's up, like how are you or something. He didn't respond all day, and then I texted him the next day and I was like, okay, so like I need like a little bit of communication. I understand if you're busy, but like just let me know so that I know. Still didn't respond, but he was like sending me Snapchats and stuff, and at this point I was just like, oh, I just don't really care about this that much. Like, I don't know you enough to have feelings for you. You clearly don't really know what you want, and it seems like you only want sex, which is something that I can't provide for you. So I feel like it's just better for me to let you know that like this isn't a thing anymore. So I basically ended things after talking to my friends. They were like, oh, it's not worth it, like he seems like a bit sketch anyways, so maybe just let it go. This is the one in Blush Gems. So I was like, okay, great idea. So like I told him, I was like, hey, like if you can't change the way that you communicate, then unfortunately like this can't be a thing. You seem like a great guy, but it's just not working for me. Not to say that I'm like a very like high temperament person, because I feel like I'm like very chill and I don't really need much from a person, but if I'm not seeing you that often, I want to still be able to talk to you. So I told him that, and he was like, okay, that's fine. Week goes by, nothing really changed. I think we talked like once. So I just kind of let go, and I ended up deleting his number. This is where things just escalated so quickly, because all of that before was just like, it's just normal like dating nowadays. It's just like, it just wasn't really working. He texts me and he's like, hey, do you want to get dinner and talk this week? And if you guys follow me on Snapchat or Instagram, I posted this conversation on there because I was dying. So I text him back and I'm like, who dis? And he sends me wow in all texts, in all caps. I'll put the conversation up on the screen if I can find it. I'll just block out his name and stuff like that. Because it's so funny how butthurt he would get. He was so manipulative to the point where, like, if I didn't want to have sex with him, he would make me feel bad about it. If I was standing up for myself, like, in a conversation, he would make me feel bad about it. Like, the last time that we had talked before this, I was telling him on Snapchat, I was like, I just feel like you aren't really putting forth effort, and I'm, like, the only one putting forth effort. And I haven't known you that long, so I feel like this is kind of a waste, like we can be friends or something like that. And he never responded. So naturally I like deleted all of his stuff because I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I unfollowed him off of Instagram, I deleted him off of Snapchat, I deleted his number, because if we're not friends and we're not talking, then I don't need your contact information. What he would do is he would just like drag me along. Like, I only knew him for like a month, but he would like drag me along for like weeks on end through talking like every like 2 days, and every single time something would happen and I'd be like, I don't think this is a good idea, he'd come up with some like weird excuse about like how like someone was hurt or how he was hurt in the hospital. It was just all like very like, I feel like you're lying, but okay, I'll go along with it. He texted me the next day like asking how my day was going. And then he just starts sending me nudes. Literally, like, I'm like, I didn't ask for this. It was so awkward. At one point, he was like, oh my god, I like bet this is making you go crazy in class. And I'm like, do boys think that I want this? I was like, first of all, TMI, but I've like already seen this. So like, I don't know if you think like I miss it, like I like need more visuals of this, but like, a penis is a penis. So I remember what it looks like, and really nothing to brag about, to be honest. And then he started asking for pics from me, and I was like, no, basically. Like, I was like, I just don't want to. And I'm like, are you seriously gonna get mad at me just because I won't send you pictures of me? When we're not dating, you don't really talk to me. Like, I literally told him, I was like, I'm not gonna reward you for bad behavior. So he was so manipulative. Like, we didn't even talk that much. I met him twice, and he was like super attached to me, which is why it was so weird the way that he would act when we weren't together. Because when we were together, he would act like we were a married couple, and then when we weren't, it was like I didn't exist. And I was like, you know, I'm not really into this. So I'd tell him, and then he'd make me feel absolutely terrible about it. And I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. So this is the finished makeup look. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see some more videos like this in the future, let me know. If you want some more story times, let me know. I have so many boy-related story times from all these dates I've been going on, so I would love to share some. Most of them aren't as petty as this one, but I think there's definitely a lesson learned in each of my stories that I tell. In this one, it's definitely stand your ground and don't let people do things that you don't want to do, because the way that he pressured me made me feel like the worst person on the planet. I was like, maybe I should just say yes even though I really don't want to. It was terrible. I actually have a lipstick. Shocker. We're gonna use this. It's the Maybelline Cinnamon, I think it's called. I still have this lipstick. This is like my #1 nude lipstick that I use. This is actually like too light on me right now. God damn. Let's see. A lip gloss from e.l.f. This is a lip plumping gloss in Champagne Glam. Highly recommend to anyone looking for a nude gloss. This is like my favorite nude gloss I've ever found. It's almost empty now, but apply that. That didn't really make any darker, but I'll usually wear gloss and not really lipstick. So that's it, y'all. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you in my next one. I love you.